So, for game number 2 here, it looks like we have Arena for this one. Had to double check here, stone walls. It's most definitely Arena. That should mean that this is Team Argentina's home map. Argentina is with probably almost 40 teams or something for the 2 World Cup, so they're got so many teams. I don't know if this is their W team or something, but they're playing against Norway B here. See, we have a switch of players here as well. Kong Forever stepping in for Tiger for this one. So the Norway B squad has 3 players. It's Tiger, Kong Forever, and Plogan. Kong Forever also in the what should we say, 1700 plus area, not currently, but he's definitely up there once he gets his potato computer out of the way and gets a real computer. I think he'll climb even more with less lag in his games overall. But that's up to Kong to to get into his promise to get a new computer on Black Friday at the latest. So we're all in the community, Norwegian community, looking forward to that, to play games with Kong with less lag overall. So here's Arena. We don't really have too much to talk about in the early game here. Could speculate a little bit about the sim choices and potential strategies though. So let's go to Team Argentina first here. We have Burmese for Cornelio Bruto here in the yellow. Pretty familiar Arena civ. You'd see Burmese more often than not go for stone early on while going up to the castle age to get to the castles to produce your iron by, your unique unit that is classified as ranged cavalry. It's a cavalry unit dealing ranged melee damage, basically. And what's been popular on Arena lately is not just one castle, but double castle iron by, something you can do by investing heavily into stone while going up to the castle age. You could drop 2 castles straight away, and then after building the castles, retasking your villagers to gold and wood or whatever you need for consistent iron by production. It's a very all-in strategy with just 1 TC eco to back it, but since the iron by damage have high damage against buildings, you could easily break through the stone walls of the enemy and deal some serious damage early on with your army masses. So that might be Cornelio Bruto's play here as well. The Burmese have great monks as well, though. Their monk technologies are cheaper, so they could go for a monk or monk and siege push. And finally, they have elephants and bonus for infantry, the infantry getting +1 attack per age from feudal. So actually pretty versatile. The only thing lacking in the Burmese tech tree is their horrible archers upgrades here, missing the castle age and imperial age armor. So you generally don't go archers as Burmese. So for the Argentinians teammate here, we have Red Lash playing with Huns. That's a civ you don't see a lot on Arena. I mean, you save some space, obviously, by not needing to build houses. You start with 200 pop space with Huns, but you start also with 100 less wood in the bank, so it means you'd have to tweak it a little bit, maybe prioritize wood collection a bit earlier just to sustain your eco early on. But then again, not needing to build houses, you save 25 wood per house not built, so in the longer run you save wood, but you generally don't see Huns picked for Arena. I mean, Huns would be they do get Paladin, obviously, so that's a play, but if you go for a pike and siege push against them, there's not really too much they can do to stop it. Anyway, it's Huns here, uncommon pick for Arena, but I'm sure they have some plans to go for here. See villagers accounts pretty similar here again among the players. Not really much idle time to talk about. Now let's move on to the Norway B's side here. We have Plogan with Lithuanians for this one. I'd say they're arguably stronger than Huns. They both get Paladin, but if Lithuanians can get a hold of the relics, they get up to +4 attack on their knights and Lightis, the unique units. So they really have to stress control for the relics. Might see some scouts play and some spears on the field here early on to collect those relics. But that extra attack boost, and not to mention the gold boost as well, is just has some insane potential. Lithuanians have the full monk tech tree as well, since they are classified as a cavalry and monk civilization, I believe. Let's just double check that. And they start with extra food as well, so the transition into feudal castle is just so much smoother when you are Lithuanians. You basically don't need to invest as much into farms or other things. You could yeah, get easily through the ages with Lithuanians because of that extra starting food. Less idle time chance on the TC as well, as long as you remember to build houses, that is. And Plogin's teammate, Kong Forever, is with Vietnamese here, which is a great archers civilization. Their archery range units get extra hit points, so they are more tanky against enemy units. And they also have a unique unit in the Rattan Archer, created from castle, that has even higher melee resistance, if I remember correctly. Rattan Archer, Foot Archer, but let's look at the stats here. It's yeah, look at the armor there. Is it higher pierce armor maybe mainly here that plays in? It's an extremely tanky unit, 45 HP, but looks like it's both melee and pierce armor. I think that's pretty high, so they will withstand a lot of more archers fire than generic archers units do. So that's also good news for Confederate to have a Civ that has access to great arbalests against the Burmese player, but because one of the better counter against Arambai is indeed to get to crossbows and arbalests and exploit the fact that Arambai have high attack but limited range and limited defense at that. We see Plogan now going to the feudal age. He is going up at 26 population, should have no problem getting straight to the cast age after this one. Has dropped only 4 farms, but as said, that early food eco boost for Lithuanians makes this transition all the much easier. Here comes the barracks, so it's going to be the blacksmith stable drop for Plogan, I think, here going into the next stage. Meanwhile, we see the Burmese player not clicking up yet. He's at 27 pop for the time being, but is going to invest into another villager. 28 pop, probably going for the 30 population cast age here. Could smell of double cast Arambai here, considering he's already committing 2 villagers to stone. Going to be more probably to afford these castles. Huns player on stone as well, so it could be that there are some, could of course only be for a defensive potential here, this castle, but it could also be that Red Lash wants to get into Tarkans, that has a mounted unit created from the stable, from the castle for Huns, that could be used to break through buildings more easily, because they have bonus damage against buildings. Would be cool to see Tarkans into play. That would be a good play against Vietnamese as well, because the Tarkans are basically like Huskarls on horses. They have so high pierce armor that you would struggle to take them out with archers alone. So we have a bit of flaring going on here. Probably just flaring that, you know, this is blue, this is the location of them. That's who we're going to hit first. Tries to gather some scouting intel. Here's the stable blacksmith. Logan already 5% cast late, going to be the first to cast late by far, whereas we look at the other players here at 28 pop or so, going to go up on 30 pop probably low. Confirmer settling for 29 pop here, so he's going to have a slight head start on cast late on the Huns player. Meanwhile, Burmese player going for 30 pop here, probably has one last villager in the queue here, and then we'll be going up to the cast stage. So scouts singling on the field. Kong wants help to take out the enemy scout here. Plogan is not too far away, so I believe that the yellow scout will be history here. That's going to be bad news for the Burmese player. Not great intel on the map, but on the other hand knows the location of all the relics because he simply is Burmese, and that's the bonus of Burmese. The ability to see all the relics on the map. Yellow scout pretty weak here now. More scouts from Plogan as well. He's adding scouts going up to the castle age to get that map control, and is looking good so far for Norway B with the presence on the field. Picking off on scout, getting that 1 kill, and has the presence on the map already to try and secure those relics that are so important for the Lithuanians player. So looking at the stone commitment here, it seems like it's going to be only 1 castle to begin with for the Burmese player, but it still makes for some Arambai ideas here. Probably going to be Arambai, and then with that 1 castle maybe get just some few numbers out and try to break through and raid Kong before the RE presence on the field takes over here. Let's see, army total for plugin is 4 scouts here. Let's see if anyone starts adding spears. Here's a defensive castle from Red Lash, pretty far back in the base. I don't love the position. It protects the TC and it's hidden away from the walls as well. So if he's going for some kind of Tarkans play here, that's probably the idea here. Let's look at the Huns eco setup. Not really. I mean, the castle could facilitate the imp transition as well by needing fewer buildings, but let's see if he goes into Tarkans, if that's the play. We see the Lithuanians player producing monks here, and Kong forever with the siege tower. So the days of siege towers used crashing the game on Definitive Edition are over. We're going to see a siege tower in action here with Vietnamese archers ready to go. In that the 17th minute, Burmese player sticking to 1 TC here, but this castle placement probably not optimal. Probably not expecting the siege tower forward though, so but that could be hurtful considering that the castle is over here. Kong's archers could loop around this way and easily dodge castle fire, not taking damage here. Kong has crossbows on the way. Wow, a nice reaction from Cornelio Bruto there, actually placing some foundations to stop the archers from entering, but it's not going to be enough. Crossbows are let in. They have +2, they have Botkin there already, and 1 woodline is going to be denied here of Cornelio Bruto. Kong dodges castle fire nicely as well, now going to deny that main gold, but there's some gold in the back as well, something that Kong can't know about just yet. He will be scouting for it for sure. He wants to take the Burmese player of gold here to obstruct their ability to go for Iron Buy. Is Tarkans indeed for Red Lash here, so that's going to cause trouble for Kong's crossbows here, because look at this pierce armor here of the Tarkans, it's 3+1. So with 6 crossbows against 4 Tarkans, no way Kong gets out of this, but Kong abuses the fact that the Burmese player doesn't have loom yet, and this 6 crossbows still great value forward, picking off so many villagers. Cornelio Bruto down to 23 villagers already, 22, 21. Fantastic value from only 6 archers going forward through the siege tower for Kong, buying Logan all the time he needs to focus on the map and start collecting relics. And there are 2 relics for the Lithuanians player already giving him a +2 boost for the knights that are going to come later on. Kong sends the remaining 2 crossbows inside the siege tower here, hoping to save them, but this is looking grim for the siege tower. It will go down, the archers will for sure go down as well. Meanwhile, Kong is extending his eco, dropping the 3rd TC now, as crossbows slide down there for some reason. That must have been a siege tower glitch there, that the siege tower was moving, and since the siege tower was killed, you got the impression that the archers are still there. Ghost archers, oh boy. Scouts and Knights from Plogan doing work here against the Iron by chasing them down, and the eco of Yellow here took a serious hit, now back on gold with 8 on gold total, but 8 on wood as well. Iron buy are costly in wood and gold, so it's going to take him a little bit while longer to mass numbers. And look at the overall villager count here, it's just huge difference already. 20 villager lead for Norway B here. Tarkans are being massed though, could break through here, cause some trouble for Lithuanians, but then again there are Lithuanian knights here already with a +3, and defense coming in for Plogan as well. Plogan being 2v1, he is the cavalry player here. You want to cripple the cavalry player in the game as well as you can, because they have the mobility to dictate fights where they will be, so you want to keep their eco and RB numbers low if you can. Quite a few Tarkans here from Red Lash, certainly not something they would expect, I'm sure. So that calls for a reaction, I guess. Plogan is going to siege here. I'm surprised to see him not opting for just a few pikemen or something here, but maybe he is confident that the knights are enough. The military count overall is actually in favor of the Argentinian team here. Is 21 to 10, 31 army total against 25 of the opposing team here. Tarkans now running in. They will not be subject to TC fire at all, so the fact that they broke through here is really bad news for Plogan. He will be needing some help from Kong now, but the crossbows won't really do much with Tarkans on the field. Yeah, looks like TC might go down for Logan here. So even with 3 relics in the box, he's doesn't have the number of knights needed yet. Got caught a bit off guard here by the Tarkans that breaking through that easily. Meanwhile, Kong has some army moving to the side now. 13 crossbow. I don't think that's going to be enough to contest this mass of Tarkans. I think it's 23 army now for Red Lash. If that's all Tarkans, that's a lot of Tarkans to deal with at this stage of the game. Norway B has to be patient here though. They still have the equally. They have 100 villagers against maybe 70, 80 here of the Argentinian team. But that's 2 TCs down for Plogan already. Knights. The eco takes such a toll that Knights production is out of the question for Plogan here. Yeah, Plogan actually needs to flee his base here. Relics advantage will be lost as well as the monastery goes down here. And where does Norway B go from here? Plogan really much lower score than the Burmese player now. Still on 1 TC though, and going for that around by going for the army numbers over villager numbers for now. Plogan with 25 vills, Cornelio Bruto with 33. So it's a bit of a base trade here, and great damage by Kong early on, but Tarkans really put a stopper to that crossbows forward, and now with a total of 30 army inside Plogan's base, and Tarkans taking out TC's, Plogan is going to struggle here. Kong did get the boom going on, is with 72 villagers overall, the boom lead by far here. Huns 1 TC all in here with the Tarkans play. And signals a place where Plogan could flee to and try and get the reboom going. But now getting these relics back will be a tough one. 3 relics here up for grabs for the Huns player if a monastery comes into play here. None of them with the monastery just yet though, but it would be the right time to try and pick these relics before they can be secured again by Norway B here, because you really don't want the Lithuanians to get that relics boost. Look at the crossbows here. That's 27 crossbows, not even taking a quarter of the HP of the Tarkans here. Kong's crossbows are rendered useless here in this mass of Tarkans. He could still try to pick off the Iron Bite though to keep the numbers low. Takes a choke point here as well, but look at how many hits it takes. Kong takes some choke points, goes for some wall off here as well, but Tarkans, they have bonus against buildings, so they should easily be taking down house walls here, no problem. Some knights, but now only with 10 attack, not 10 plus 3 like they had a moment ago. And even more Tarkans floating onto the field. The Huns unique tech lets you produce Tarkans from stables as well if you go for it. Very interesting arena clone strategy from the Argentinian team here now, going for the second player. They more or less obliterated Plogan's base here. No more eco for Plogan at his old home base here. Didn't manage to wall off enough in time. Kong tries to drop multiple archery ranges here, but is starting to look very tough for Norway B here. Yeah, he's only 1 stable, I know. But I assume maybe it's just for the upgrades actually that he's going for Tarkans from the castle, and the stable is just for husbandry and bloodlines. That could be that he didn't prioritize the unique tech that costs resources after all. But I have to say, I've played and seen many games, so you just don't see Hans picked on arena a lot. And here they played to perfection, just immobilizing the archers completely here, even Vietnamese with their extra HP. So pretty darn impressive play by Argentina here. It's looking like the game will go to 1-1 for sure, and we'll be diving into the next one. Most likely. I'm sort of just anticipating the GG here. Monastery goes up for Plogan again, wants to go into some monk defense here, doesn't really have the gold for it though, and here comes a forward castle from the Burmese player. Kong is losing builds as well. He's down to 51 villagers now. Suddenly Argentina is closing in on the villager lead here, and these army masses are just 60 army against 10 for the time being, and why Kong and Plogan are holding on is just a question for the eternity here. This has to be over pretty soon. Both Argentina Units here have a bonus against buildings as well, so they could just pick off buildings with ease here. Going for the thesis, going for the eco here, and the woodland here is very exposed for Kong as well. Just send in a few targets and you could raid this woodland as well. Pikemen, how are they going to do here? Doesn't really matter because the GG is called and we'll be going to game 3. Wow, what a play by Argentina here. Didn't see that coming, especially not the Huns pick. But the eco lead overall for Red Lash in the end. Kong with the villager lead, but that boom with the archers. The pikes transition was needed just so much earlier when the Tarkans came onto the field. But I needed mass pikes to deal with it. But then again, Iron Bite would deal with the pikes again because their ranged melee attack would slaughter them. So pretty strong combo from Team Argentina here. Takes the score to 1-1. Amazing KD here for Red Lash, 126 to 27 here. Eco tab shows food and gold mostly. That's what you need for Tarkans. Up times. Flogan first wanted to cast late, but didn't get into the knights and the upgrades soon enough here. And yeah, the relic gold didn't matter too much in the end as well. Just look at this army numbers tab here, increasing for Argentina more and more as the game went on.